desert blind, whispers of a twisted mind, found paradise in hell, stories only he could tell. Children of a broken dream followed his unholy scheme. Promised lands through bloody hands, swept beneath the devil's plan. Manson shadows on the wall, creeping closer to the fall. Twisted preacher in the night, spreading chaos with delight. Desert nights in the eerie chance, serpent's eyes in a devil's glance, heavens shattered by his word, preaching madness so absurd. Hope crushed in wicked fire, lost souls swayed by desire. In the dark they found their king, caught in webs his lies would bring. Children's laughter turns to cries, echoes of the night's disguise, promises of pain and chains, left them wandering insane.
Right. Hello? Yeah, we can hear you, Jeremy. I think, yeah, it's okay.
All right.
Right,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
here.
cool, yeah.
Can't see me still because my
No.
computer's still, for whatever reason, my camera's blocked. But
Oh,
we're gonna
great,
make it
yeah.
work.
Yeah, yeah. Right, yeah, well. Yeah, my tooth isn't hurting as such. It's just it feels irritated at the moment. Because what it is, there's a cavity in the root of two of them. And I've taken antibiotics, so it's not immediately infected. So it's not hurting right now. It just feels irritated. And they couldn't get me in until Tuesday to actually whip the teeth out. Unfortunately.
Make you
Yeah.
tired having all that going on for sure.
Yeah,
and
it
all
does,
running
and it
around.
just feel rough on my face. It's this side. My face is swollen on you. It's horrible.
I get it. I've
Yeah,
been sick myself. It's been that time.
yeah. How's everyone? Yeah, I've had the antibiotics. Yeah, so that's all right. I'm not at risk of getting fucking sepsis or anything. Yeah, the infection's gone. And once they whip
Well,
the teeth, I'll be all right. Yeah.
they can't take your teeth out while they're infected either. You have to have the antibiotics to get the inflammation and infection down before they can take them out, so they'll heal up.
Yeah.
But no, we were talking about Jim Morrison and his dad and like that whole thing. The
Yeah.
reason why he distanced himself from his parent, like had that whole, oh, my parents are dead, and
Yeah.
really that was to distance himself from his past completely. He didn't want anybody to know he had such a square background.
Yeah. Yeah. It just wasn't cool, was it? Yeah. And Emily Harris's dad as well was in the army.
Mm-hmm.
quite
Like
high in the military, was embarrassed about protest songs and stuff like that. She thought that you shouldn't be singing against the Vietnam War, which I was like shocked to hear about her.
Graham Parsons,
Mm,
Gene Clark,
yeah.
Stephen Stills.
Mm,
There's quite a few of them. And so,
yeah.
like with Charlene Cafritz, like the whole thing with her, even just being married to the Cafritz family was enough to get all as much of that taken down and removed from public.
And her
Uh,
dad was military intelligence as well, and her mum worked on the Russia desk in politics. So yeah, very connected family. That's her parents. That's her actual parents.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But it would have been embarrassing for the Cafritz family as well, wouldn't it? Even though she got divorced from him, you
Oh
know.
yeah, they don't
But
want their name associated with any
yeah,
of
it's
that.
still a scandal. Yeah, yeah, isn't it? Obviously, but it's weird. There's no record of their wedding. There's no magazine articles about their wedding. No announcement of their engagement or anything like that.
Well, just because we don't have access to them doesn't mean they didn't exist back then.
Yeah, but there's archives of everyone else's. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Sure,
Like you can find newspaper articles about Mama Cass being engaged to Billy Doyle and Pick
sure.
Dawson, but nothing about this Charlene Cafritz woman.
Well,
This
their
this
families
guy.
had
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that taken down out of the archives. Let's,
yeah.
yeah, let's
Maybe
not have that.
it looks like it must have been wiped, unless
Right.
the whole marriage is some kind of sham. It's some kind of story, and she was some kind of like undercover agent. You know what I mean? And she never really was married to the dude, and her name never really was Charlene Cafritz or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
Well, if they were both military intelligence and came from these high-ranking families, it may have been an arranged marriage of,
That's it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And when they're raised from their childhoods to be bloody military intelligence, that's why they were able to do it at such a young age. Because it doesn't make sense for her to be military intelligence if she was only 21. But
Could
had
you
she been
imagine?
trained since yeah, childhood, maybe.
Could you imagine having a kid and being like, "Well, I think this would make a good little agent."
Yeah,
They're cynical already, you know. Let's
yeah,
train them up.
yeah, yeah. Well, they reckon they did bloody experiment on kids and all that, didn't they? Back in the 50s and 60s, but it went all the way up to the 90s, 80s and 90s. They were experimenting on kids in classrooms.
I think they still are. They're just doing it in the
Yeah,
wide open these days, you know.
yeah,
I mean, this whole thing of convincing kids that they're transsexual and castrating them before their bodies are done developing is kind of
yeah.
experimental.
Yeah, well, that was some kind of big social experiment, I'm sure. Yeah, just letting every kid that feels that they're transsexual bloody become transsexual. Yeah, and have the operations as young as they have. Yeah, it's shocking, and there's been a big backlash in the UK.
There's one in the U.S. too. I mean,
Yeah, because they they
I
they
don't.
they're growing up and going, "Why did you let me do that when I was so young? I've changed my mind." Yeah, yeah,
Sure, I didn't know who I was until,
yeah,
I'm well into my 30s at least, and even then
yeah.
I still had a lot to
Have a
learn.
drink. Yeah,
I don't know, I don't want to tell other people how to live their lives, and it's not my place to do that. But when you're talking about kids and permanently altering them, and I mean, I know in the US, a kid can't get a fucking tattoo until they're 18. How the hell are you gonna feed them these
yeah,
experimental hormones and chop their bits off?
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
So,
it is. But also the thing with AI now as well. It's getting crazy that they're bloody
uh,
going to use AI to gather everyone's data from your birth, basically. Yeah,
well, they have the ChatGPT is launching their own search engine and what do you call it?
yeah,
Um, not the website. They're starting their own browser, a ChatGPT browser and search engine, and so it will collect all of the data from your every time you go to any website, everything you buy, any type of thing, and it just collects all your information.
yeah,
I'm not going to get that.
yeah. Well, it is just absolutely crazy what is about to start happening in the world, and they distract us constantly with other stories about bullshit, and it's just everything's just falling apart around us.
Well, it seems like it, but I think that
Yeah,
if you look at the cycles in history, that every time something falls apart, a new structure emerges to take its place, and usually the one that emerges is quote unquote better or more serving of the people, is the way that I would look at it. Sometimes these things have
Yeah,
to
that's
fall
it.
for us to put a new infrastructure in place. Yeah,
But it is just
Johnny's
history
got it.
repeating. They have history
Yeah.
repeating over and over again. How long are we going to put up with it for? Why don't we just
Nobody
Yeah,
reads books and nobody learns from history, so they allow it to repeat and they engage in it. I mean, I looking at it from an American perspective, we're repeating the late 60s over here right now with what we've got going on, only it's almost like a negative image of it. It's strange, but yeah, there's a lot of elements of it history repeating, but it's because nobody's really reading history and looking at it with a contextual view. Nobody's looking at anything with any context. It's all us versus them, you know.
yeah.
I hate XYZ because they don't represent my interests,
Mm,
and it's a very narcissistic thing too. So Kitty says it's a scary time.
yeah. What it is. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like I say, and I've been making a lot of progress on this on Substack as well. There's 147 subscribers on there now, and
Oh
37
yeah,
articles. Yeah, I hope people and Substack is really interesting as well. Like I say, there's loads of interesting articles about whatever you're into. There's true crime writers. There's conspiracy stuff, and all that. So I showed you that one where the guy's writing about John Lennon's murder in that
right.
demo and
Yeah,
stuff about Kurt Cobain. Everything. There's so much on there.
I have a
I
lot of
highly
reading.
recommend Substack.
I have a lot of reading on Substack to catch up on. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I said, Nancy's put up a lot on hers. So yeah, if you haven't went and subscribed to her Substack and checked it out, I definitely recommend doing it.
And we've got to get the Hendrix stream together as well, haven't we? We'll have to talk about that.
We'll do a John Lennon and a
Plan that because
Hendrix.
I've shown you, yeah, yeah, what I wrote years ago, yeah. Break from the Manson stuff for a little while. Oh, this bloody cat.
It's all
Come on,
related,
go and sit somewhere
but
else while I'm doing this show for a little while. Go on.
James
It's
Watson
a
says
nightmare.
today's counterculture is a pawn for the establishment. Well, yes, they are. It's not exclusive to the counterculture these days. It's just kind of bled into everything. It's kind of anything that's started off as kind of pure and organic eventually gets co-opted by the mainstream, and the demographic gets considered, and it starts selling tickets to themselves. And that's where we're at. Saw a snippet of Sharon's funeral years ago on some website with a woman identified as Charlene in it. CCAL 313. Do you
Oh,
remember
right,
where
yeah,
that
because
was?
she knew Sharon Tate. Yeah, and we've seen pictures of her now, so we could probably identify her, yeah, if we found that again. And I also found footage. It's in the Facebook group. I'll share it on the community tab as well. I found you can do it on the community tab. Footage of Gary Hinman's house,
I
the
saw
news
that
footage.
earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the footage of his apartment.
that
Obviously, his
was
body's gone,
interesting.
but yeah, they walk around, yeah, and the police talking about it. It's old archive news footage. Yeah, this is the Substack anyway. Sorry, let me show you. Scroll down, and you see all the articles. That's the one I've just done. The Maid, Zilla Drive, the one for Patricia Krenwinkel. Brotherhood of Eternal Love. There's 37 archives. Wrote up the Rudy Outerbelly and Olivia Hussey stream, and also found new information about Sharon Tate's relationship with Christopher Jones as well that I've added to the article that I didn't have when I did the stream, and Rudy
And
Outerbelly,
yeah, they don't talk about
Garrettson. That
Christopher
post,
Jones very much, but it's almost like he was a
no.
mini Steve McQueen for as much as he got around.
Yeah, yeah, and then just well, obviously when he raped Olivia Hussey, that got him blacklisted by the sound of things, and that was it. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Let me stick the link.
James Watson. Substack killed my brother.
Yeah, yeah. And raped my mother. Sorry.
Yeah, James, that's it. Most of the counterculture's left, and they do everything the left establishment and left media wants them to do, is what I meant. Well, it's not even left anymore, it's
That's
extremism.
the Substack link.
They're, they haven't, we're not talking about right and left. left is just a belief system. Like what we're talking about is activism and
Goes wrong, yeah.
extremism and terrorism, domestic terrorism.
Oh, and
And
left and right is a fucking illusion anyway. Don't fall for it. Right?
absolutely,
They're both
absolutely.
fucking bullshitting us. So don't fall
Well,
for it.
it's
Don't
all designed to
disagree. Fall out
keep
with people
people
over right and
divided.
left.
Yep, keep
Exactly.
people
Yeah.
divided
Divide
and
and
fighting.
conquer.
Yep, fighting
I
amongst
get it.
themselves, and
Yeah.
that way they won't ever band together and really take over.
Turn against them.
So
We should be turning
yeah.
against the billionaires, but we all fucking fight amongst ourselves because of this right left bullshit. Yeah.
So James, I'd say a
Crap, yeah.
better way to phrase it is most of the counterculture thinks they're left, but they're being kind of propagated and subjugated into
Yeah.
extremism because what they're doing isn't, what they think it is.
Yeah.
This is the way I see it. Of course, I could be wrong,
Right.
and who gives a shit
Stephen's
what I
really
think?
happy, Mark. He bought me a coffee the day after. He was really happy with the after show.
Yeah, we
He
had a
didn't
good
feel
time.
bullied. We all had
Yeah,
a great time. He didn't feel
we,
bullied at all.
yeah, we weren't bullying them, and nobody was exploiting anybody or anything like that.
Yeah,
We were
he's
just
fine.
giving everybody a platform to speak their point of view from what they're thinking. So
Yeah,
it can't all be serious all the time. Part of the point of this is, yeah, we're all comparing notes, trying to get to the truth. Not everybody's going to agree with everything or have the same viewpoint. We have to be able to kind of make some jokes and laugh at ourselves and laugh at each other in the process.
yeah. Been
No,
talking to him
yeah,
all week.
Steven's fine. We're all good. Everything's
Yeah,
going to be just fine.
yeah, right.
Shiny, happy people holding hands.
Yeah, yeah. Stephen has his own channel as well. Go and look at his channel. You should start writing as well. You should start Substack, Stephen. It's easy enough to do.
Yeah.
Right on
And in
Substack.
fact, you can do the talk to text thing where you can, put the bulk of your text down through speaking and then just go through and
Yeah,
kind of correct the punctuation and grammar, contextual grammar stuff.
yeah. Well, that's it. There's so many apps now because I work with the transcripts of the streams, and that you can pull a lot of information because I've already done all the research for the streams.
Steven says he has a book. Is that
Yeah,
something that you're getting?
I've seen you promoting your book, haven't you? But if you don't have copies to sell, do you? It looks like you've not got many copies of it. You've got to
Uh,
tell
Well, say
people where they can get it and
put a
promote
link
your own
in the
channel. Show your own channel.
yeah,
Yeah,
put a link in the
yeah,
comments, Steven. Where can we get your book?
yeah. That's it.
Well, yeah, uh, they were communists without the Communist Manifesto because they weren't exactly Marxists. And the hierarchy that we were pitched by Bugliosi isn't accurate. So it wasn't like Charles Manson was really the head. He was just the oldest one. A lot of the stuff that they did was at the behest of Linda and Tex and Bobby and Squeaky, who are the real heads of the family. So,
Oh, Linda
um,
Kasabian as well is supposed to have had
yeah,
a big role in what happened.
yeah, like
According to, but was that just sour grapes though? Because she had just testified against them, and did they just unfairly blame her disproportionately for the full drug
or
burn thing?
did she have a lot to do with what went down at CLO
Well,
Drive?
this is it. This is it as well, though, and it's plausible because she has the history of drug dealing beforehand and after, doesn't she,
Mhm.
as well? So
Yeah,
it makes you think.
just her showing up could make the vibe change at the
Yeah,
at the ranch, and that's from
yeah.
all accounts that we've heard. That's what is said too, is that when she showed up, the
Mm.
vibe changed.
No,
So
you can put the link in the chat. It just isn't clickable. So you'd have to copy and paste it, and the chat don't move that fast that you can do it. But anyone can post a link. It will let
just
you post a link. You just can't click it unless you've got a
if
wrench. Yeah,
if you post it, I'll copy and paste it and put it in there with the wrench, and
yeah.
you'll be clickable.
Wait,
Let me make
it's at Art's a Hobby, isn't it? That's his YouTube handle. If you just type in a hobby.
Yeah, Johnny Rogers said someone was very pissed off at whoever lived at CLO Drive today.
That is Steven's channel. If you type that into YouTube, you should find it. Yeah, you'll recognize it. It's the same profile picture, obviously, that you see when he comes up in the chat.
Yeah.
Is that what they were trying to get to? Were you trying to get to Steven's channel?
No, we're talking
Yeah,
about links to the book. Yeah, links
his
will
book,
show up
right?
if a
Well,
mod
is
puts
it
them
linked
in.
from your channel, Stephen? Have you got it like in the about section of your channel or whatever, or do you talk about it on your channel? People can contact you through there anyway, can't they, to ask you about your book? Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Look, Mill says, Nancy, do you know if Charlene spent any time in either Boston or San Francisco?
Not for sure. No, it's hard to pin down anything about her, really, isn't it?
Boston also being a high society town, you could seriously probably look into that and find some information on that. But I mean, there's
Yeah.
just so little information about her that
Yeah. But it is like, sort of weird. It does seem like she's been erased, like stuff has been erased. And I was trying to. There's like you can find traces of articles, and when you go to the Wayback Machine, it's been taken off the Wayback Machine. So it's as if someone did go around like relatively recently trying to wipe out everything from the internet about her again. So it's like, why though? What's so important about her? She was just another girl that got taken in by Charles Manson. By the sound of things, what's so? This is why you want to know, isn't it? Because what they've hidden so much.
sure.
Yeah, this is
And
the other thing. Yeah, no one knows anything about Leslie, do they? I don't blame her for obviously for being anonymous. She obviously ain't living under that
I
name, is she? Yeah.
I assume no good news is good news, as Gary Gnu used
I
to
know. I
say.
know. I read it's been announced she's finished the probation or whatever. Now she's no longer under probation or whatever. She's finished the whatever you serve when you come out of prison. Yeah.
Sure.
She's no longer living in a probation hostel. She's probably got her own house somewhere or
She's
whatever
got her
now.
own house. She's
Yeah.
working or doing whatever.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything, so that's the
No,
good
that's it.
news.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
she's obviously chosen to stay anonymous and not go on podcasts and shit. And I don't blame her.
cannot blame her one little bit.
No. Yeah, I'm interested to watch that interview with Patricia Krenwinkel's lawyer as well. I've shared it on the community tab and in the Facebook group, and I'll put it on the subreddit as well. But that'll be interesting to see what he's saying.
Yeah.
And it's on the YouTube channel of a guy who's an expert in cult brainwashing as well. So yeah, should be interesting. But it's actually the lawyer that's representing Krenwinkel at the moment he's interviewing. It's about an hour long. And
That's
I've got to
crazy
find,
that
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's crazy that he's, with the ongoing right now that he's given an interview about it.
yeah. Yeah, well, that's what we're saying, Annie. Yeah, it looks like everything's been wiped clean. Yeah, that's it. Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Taking a drink of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, it won't go on for a long time, so I don't feel too good. But yeah, you fall off the algorithm completely. If you've already missed one stream, and I didn't want to fall behind on this, so I wanted to get that out anyway, so at least people can hear that one bit that I found. Craziest thing is that her dad possibly served with Sharon Tate's dad. Yeah.
Look, Mill, I don't know.
We
If you
haven't
mentioned,
watched. I haven't watched it yet. I've literally only just found it. I haven't watched it. I doubt it though. Why would he? He's nothing to do with text. It's Krenwinkel's lawyer, and it's about it's on the channel of a guy that's an expert in cult brainwashing. So it's going to be mainly about the abuse angle. I'm sure that he's talking in it.
they're just going to regurgitate Helter Skelter and why nothing was Patty's fault because of.
Yeah, because she was so brainwashed by Charlie to believe that she had to go out and start a race war, and it was
Helter
nothing to do with drugs, honestly.
Helter Skelter.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I don't think Leslie's ever going to speak publicly on it again. I wouldn't. I'd be
No,
done with
no.
it at that point. I'd be like, we're out. Done.
Yeah, and there's always been the threat of hits on her and stuff like that, hasn't there? So I imagine for her own safety, she's not going to give up, where she is, obviously. Apparently, she did do a podcast before she came out of prison, but I've never been able to find it or found any link to it or anything. Yeah, but she has done some, but that was before she got released.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you don't think them girls weren't boinking in the jail cells? Get
Yeah.
it right.
And she
Yeah,
did have
man.
that relationship with that dude when she was out on bail as well, didn't she? But that was back in the 1970s. Yeah, yeah. But I think by the time you're Leslie's age, women don't care so much for boinking it up. So yeah, no, I doubt she's not fucking. She's done a lot of that, to be quite honest.
She's not 19 anymore, James Watson.
That's
Get
it.
your
Yeah,
mind out of the gutter.
She got all that out of her system. That Spawn Ranch.
Johnny Rogers says we need an update from Simi Valley Sherry or whatever her name is, one with the straight Satans, straight Santas. These are same. Satan is Santa. It's
Oh,
all
I heard.
pagan bullshit.
I think they were trying to confirm Danny DiCarlo might have died as well. Has everyone heard that? It's another thing. Danny DiCarlo might be dead.
I didn't know they had ever
That's a
found him.
tongue twister, isn't it?
Yeah, Danny
Danny
DiCarlo done
DiCarlo's
died.
dead. Yeah.
Danny DiCarlo done
yeah,
died.
Yeah. Danny DiCarlo done died.
I didn't know that they knew where he was. That they had found him.
Yeah, the Will Manson blog. I found like a relatively recent picture of him. A later picture of him, but that looked like it was from like the 90s at least. Yeah,
Sure.
just from the camera quality. But yeah, I don't know if I assume he went back to Canada. I don't know though.
That's kind of the thing with these CIA agents, FBI plants.
Yeah.
No, not copulating. It's catipulating. James.
Yeah, well, in
totally different word.
in the
means
book,
something totally
Peter Chiari Monte wrote the guy who was with her when she was out on bail. Basically, he said that she said that Charlie, when she complained about having to sleep with the bikers, Charlie took her in a dune buggy up to the edge of a cliff and said, "You can do it, or I'll throw you off the cliff." Basically, so she was coerced to sleep with bikers. She told the guy who she was with.
Yeah, that's more than
Yeah.
coercion. That's straight. That's
like you can do it, or I'll kill you. Basically, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's straight pimping.
Yeah, and well, definitely coercion, isn't it? Fucking hell. But that never came out, they're just evil monsters. But something has to turn you that way. Do you know what I mean? You don't just turn that crazy for nothing, do you? Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's a process.
Otherwise, every woman that had daddy issues or whatever would go mental and run around doing that, wouldn't they? Something extreme has to have happened to them. Is my point, yeah.
The level of accountability.
Yeah. Well, no, they're still accountable though, because fucking lots of people have experienced abuse and they don't run into the Hollywood Hills and murder people like that, do they? As well,
Sure.
But it's got to be a bit more, provide a bit more, some kind of mitigation. Do you know what I mean? Some kind of well, I understand what
it has to be cultivated and brought out of you. Is really what it is, and it's a process of things. They didn't come out of their parents' house, piss off their parents like, fuck it, I'm gonna go kill all these pigs. But
and gradually
systematically over a period of time. Yeah.
2 years, Krenwinkel particularly, she handed her she totally submitted to him, her personality. Do you know what I mean? He demanded total submission and she totally did by the end of it. By the time she was out committing murder for him, she completely felt no personality of her own anymore. It was all him, sort of thing, I think she was the only one that really totally did it for Charlie. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Linda says Leslie lied her way out of prison. Well,
yeah,
I'm going to tell you this. A bunch of lies got her put in that fucking place too. So I mean, like, what are you going to do?
Has anyone ever told the truth, really? Isn't they? That's it. Fucking hell.
Yeah, the truth wasn't going to get her out.
She was. That's the other thing that pissed me off about her getting out without ever having to admit that as well. She was more into Bobby than she was Charlie. So it was probably to save Charlie that
all the girls
to save Bobby. Sorry, not Charlie. That she went and did the La Biancas because she wanted to help Bobby.
Save a brother. That was more the save a brother. They figured, oh well, shit. Since they went ahead and did CLO, let's go do save a brother, and it kind of piggybacked off of that. But that's the thing. All the girls were more into Bobby and Tex than they were into Charlie. Nobody wants to admit that now.
Is a quote from Squeaky. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard her say that. Yeah, we will never know the cause of those murders.
Didn't Cappy tell you that they deserved to die?
She probably put her fingers in her ears when they were trying to tell her. She's like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
But isn't that right, Stephen? You said that Cappy had told you that they deserved to die, that it was justified?
No, I don't think he said that, did he?
That's what I remember hearing when I broke that thing down and did the edits.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, Annie, sometimes you wonder if one or more of the Canadians were involved at CLO Drive murders. Well, I mean...
Cass Elliott seems to have had a strong suspicion that Pick Dawson was, wasn't she? Yeah. And Bill Littler, who I learned about as well, I get a strong suspicion about him.
And
Because
then you
he
got
was
the fact,
unknown, you see. It would be too obvious to get Doyle and Harrigan to do it and Dawson to do it themselves because everyone knew who they were.
well,
You would get your mate you don't know to go and do it, that no one knows to go and do it, wouldn't you? Like Bill
they,
Littler.
they wouldn't have to have done it because we know who done it.
Mm.
We know that it was
But how
Tex
do we
and
know that,
Linda.
right? The Manson
But
family might have walked in on the Canadians, or that they were just robbing them, and the Canadians walked in and started stabbing them or whatever. And
I
we don't really
think
know, do we? We never know.
I think the Canadians came back and met with Charlie and Clem and Reeve Whitson, and that's
Yeah,
who was there after and who staged the scene
yeah.
and who went through the trunks and cleaned everything
Mm.
up and all that. Like they didn't do it. It was Linda and Tex and them.
There's newspaper articles saying Billy Doyle was her fiance at some points as well. She said there's a newspaper article saying she was engaged to both of them at different points, Billy Doyle and Pick Dawson.
They probably all
And
fucked each
Billy
other at
Doyle
the
is the
same
one that's
time
supposed to have got raped at Cielo Drive.
on video.
And Pick Dawson is the one that where they think that he bloody did it and wrote Pick on the door, and they went back and someone put another bit of blood on to make it say Pig.
Oh, Pick, don't
Yeah.
put that
No,
on the
no,
door.
Pick, don't write your own name, you idiot.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Got to change that to something else. Like that a G,
Susan.
sir.
Yeah.
I mean, we laugh. It's terrible, but I mean, yeah.
But it's just so macabre, isn't it? The idea of the people doing it. It's like the only way to stay sane when you've thought about it as long as we've had to fucking think about it. The fact that people actually went back there and moved the bodies around and staged the crime scene and that. It's just horrific, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Linda, she did
So yeah, if
want to
it looks
go
like we're
out
being
for murder.
cold when we talk about it, it's because I've been talking about it so long. You get
Yeah,
desensitized to it. I don't mean to sound cold and laugh and all that sort of shit, but thinking about it.
well, it
God.
is funny to think about Pick Dawson being like, these motherfuckers putting his
Yeah,
name
yeah.
on the door and everybody being
Mm,
like, oh, hell no,
mm.
dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
over here.
Now we've got to say you're in New York.
Yeah, Linda.
Yeah.
She did. Leslie did want to go out to do murder, and she stabbed the dead lady. She wasn't an innocent. That didn't mean she needed to be in jail for fucking 60 years.
Hiya, Beckham. Yeah, and there's interviews with her later, isn't there, saying, "Oh, when I went out, I knew they'd be killing and stuff like that." There's actually
Yeah.
quotes from her saying that, and that's years later as she's being interviewed. That was the other shocking
Nobody
thing about
ever
her.
said.
She didn't
Nobody
seem to
ever
show a
said.
lot of remorse for many years,
Yeah.
did she? Yeah.
Nobody ever said that Leslie was an innocent. All we said was that,
Yeah.
I mean, she shouldn't have been wrapped up in the whole Tate LaBianca thing.
And
And
they
that's
were so
why she was
young as
kept in
well.
jail.
They were so young. That's the other thing you got to remember.
But
And so like influenced by a lot of LSD, more LSD than you or I have ever taken. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing people don't seem to get, that they were doing it. They were dropping it constantly for months at a time.
more
You know,
drugs
and
than you
more
can
than just
shake a sticks.
LSD. Yeah,
Yeah.
mescaline, Datura, fucking whatever they.
Methamphetamine.
Yeah, probably. They say Charlie didn't like speed, and there wasn't speed at the ranch, but I think
They
that's
hid
bullshit.
it.
I think,
No, they
yeah,
hid it. They hid it from me.
or they took the pills. I don't think he differentiated between the pills and the powder. Do you know what I mean? He didn't like them
No, he
taking the
did.
powder off the street, but they dropped the speed pills constantly.
Right. And Charlie
Tex talks about having the speed pills so he could
Yes.
stay awake to fix the June buggies all night and all that.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just didn't like the speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, Little Milky. They were all speed freaks. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were political prisoners, Linda. That's correct.
They still are, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, Patricia.
If
Absolutely.
they
That's
hadn't
why
killed,
we're
if
having
Sharon
that
Tate
discussion.
hadn't died, we'd never have even heard of them, and they'd have probably been out years ago. If it weren't for the murder of Sharon Tate, that's what
Yeah.
made it hit the headlines and be so memorable, wasn't it? Basically.
Woman who kills her husband in California gets an average of 6.5 years incarcerated in prison. So you correlate that to
Well,
what they've done.
last week I was talking about that girl Agro. She stomped her friend to death, and they buried his body and left him, and she did 7 years.
Yep.
And that was
there
in
you go.
America. That's not from the UK. That sounds like something that happened in the UK. No, that's in fucking America, not in California, but yeah.
But yeah, no, that's about right.
Yeah.
7
You know what I
years
mean?
is
It's like,
about
yeah.
what you spend inside for murdering somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's
But
not
her case is crazier though, because it's like 8 counts of murder, because she's under the conspiracy for every murder, even though she
Right.
actually only stabbed Abigail and Rosemary. She is still accountable for all of them. She's convicted of
Yep.
all of them. You know what I mean? So it's much more. So
And that's
it's a
it.
different thing, but
And so they can't open that up and look at that, even because if you look at that, you see all the holes in Helter Skelter.
Yeah,
And
that's it. Well, she needs a new trial like Leslie got, and Bobby got a new trial as well. They all got bloody new trials. Where's Krenwinkel's new trial? You know.
well, but see, Bobby and Leslie weren't a part of the Helter Skelter motives, so that's why
Well,
they got
yeah,
new
because she
trials.
got out of it. She was initially, but then when she got retried, then she was no longer a part of the
In
Helter Skelter thing.
'77, she got a new
Yeah,
trial. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And so
yeah,
that's the whole thing with her
yeah,
is that, and Bobby and Clem, they
yeah,
weren't a part of the whole Helter Skelter conspiracy. So if you
yeah.
notice, Tex, Patricia, Susan, and Charlie ain't ever getting out of fucking jail.
Yeah, I'm surprised they don't talk more about letting Bruce out actually, and that Bruce hasn't, because for what he's convicted of as well, because they can only judge him by what he's convicted of. I know everyone thinks he's done loads more than he ever admitted and all
Oh
this kind of
yeah,
crap,
well from
but
what I
he's
understand, Bruce
actually
was
convicted of much lesser things than the others. That he was all mouth. He wasn't actually violent. And that's
r-
bullshit. There's
it's
in Leslie's police interview, she said Bruce was all mouth. Bruce wasn't violent.
that's amazing.
Yeah. No, I've see that's the thing. I've heard the opposite about Bruce. That's the crazy thing. It's TJ and Clem and the ones like that that were the worrying ones, I think. Tex lost it, didn't he? And obviously the bikers, there's three unnamed ones whose names we've never heard, who were lunatics that were there. Everyone's too scared to mention them.
Well, what about Al Springer, the one that disappeared before he could collect any of the reward
Yeah,
too?
and what the fuck happened to Ronald Hughes as well? I've got to cover that again because I didn't realise he knew the family before the murders as well. He was involved with Phil Kaufman.
And Harold True, he
So
knew
he knew
Harold True. Yeah,
he knew a lot about the family and yeah.
absolutely, and
And was it the family that bumped him off, or was it the government themselves? Because he was trying to get Leslie tried separately, wasn't he?
yeah, he was trying to get
Did
Leslie
they do
in
it
a new
themselves? Yeah,
trial.
yeah, yeah. Before and that would have fucked up the trial they were doing, the show trial they was putting on. It would have
Mm.
messed it all up, wouldn't it? So did the bloody prosecution kill him, or was it the Manson family?
Don says Clem looked like 4 generations of inbreeding. Well, they
Yeah.
called him Scramblehead.
Look at Brooks Poston as well. Have you looked at the interviews of Brooks Poston? Bless him.
Poor
They all
Brooks.
look a bit special. Charlie obviously targeted people that were a bit special. You know what I mean? It was he could see, he knew that they were easier to manipulate, obviously. But Clem is confirmed autistic, isn't he? And Brooks Poston looks autistic as well to me.
Clem looks Down syndrome-y.
Mm. No, he's autistic apparently. Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, no, Clem
yeah,
has completely changed his life around. We're not talking shit on anybody. We're talking about him when he was hanging out on Spawn Ranch. He
yeah.
has
That's it. Yeah.
definitely turned his life around. He's a musician in California. He's a
And he did a long
law-abiding
time, even
citizen.
to
Yeah,
even to get out in the 80s. That's a long time
sure.
he
He
did,
did
isn't it?
about
That's yeah,
15, 18 years
yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah. And he wasn't directly involved with the TLB murders, was he? He didn't go to. Well, he might have been the one that went up with Charlie. I think
He,
he's the likeliest candidate to be the one Charlie took with him.
he went with Charlie and Reeve Whitson back to the Tate
Yeah,
house afterwards, and then he was
yeah,
also in the car on the way to the Tate lobby or to
yeah.
La Bianca the
Yes,
next
that's the
time.
point. Yeah, he was in the car
Yes,
on
he
the La
was.
Bianca night, wasn't he? Yeah, but he
Yes, he
didn't go in.
was. He didn't
Yeah,
go in.
yeah. Mm.
Mm.
Because he went off with Linda and Susan, didn't he? Yeah, because there's all this stuff from Susan about what they did. Whilst the La Biancas were being murdered, they were off looking for someone else, and Linda said she took them to the door of someone she knew wouldn't be there,
Took him
or
to a
something.
wrong apartment. She knew it
Yeah,
wasn't the right apartment. She
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
want to. She didn't want to do it.
yeah,
Is what she says anyway.
yeah,
And then there was somebody randomly while they were driving. Charlie was like, "Pull up beside them. I'm going to do them." And then the light turned, and he jumped out, and the
yeah,
light turned, and they drove off. Don't know how close they came.
yeah, yeah. Well, he was a killer, wasn't he? He was part of the Shorty Shay murder, and he
Mm.
was even though he wasn't there when he was actually stabbed. So at the end, he was part of the Gary Hinman murder. So he was a killer. That
Yeah, he
doesn't
was
mean he's the
convicted.
Zodiac. He was
Yeah.
convicted, and he was part of the Shorty Shay murder, wasn't he? Yeah, so he was a killer. But that doesn't mean he's the Zodiac. Is all I'm saying. Yeah, as well, doesn't mean he killed everyone else.
Yeah, there's rumors that he's the one that killed Joel Pugh over in London as well.
Yeah, but fucking that seems unlikely as well. The inquest on him was satisfied it was suicide as well.
Well, they said that Zero was suicide too, officially, and
Yeah, I think it was because why would they have called the cops if it wasn't? I think they called the cops because they knew no one would believe them and they'd think it was murder if they didn't. Because I
Yeah.
believe he thought there was no other way out. He couldn't get away from the Manson family no matter what. So he fucking
Johnny, yeah,
got himself.
that's what Nancy was saying. That
Yeah.
Bruce was rumored to be the Zodiac for a minute, but she doesn't believe it because, from all accounts, she's heard that he was actually kind of soft.
So yeah, he wasn't actually violent. I think he was drug running or something like that, or maybe helping traffic women or something like that. But I don't believe that he was off murdering people. I think it was probably running drugs. That's why he was off traveling so much.
Don says, Linda says is a compulsive
Yeah.
lying game we can all play. Boy,
Yeah,
Linda Kasabian, man. Yeah. We
yeah.
don't want to believe anything that she says about anything.
Yeah, I've never gone through all her testimony as well because she was on the stand for about 2 weeks, wasn't she? So it'd take me bloody weeks to read out everything she fucking said. So I can't read out everything she said.
We just
That's
know
it.
it's all
Yeah,
bullshit. We don't even
yeah,
need to.
yeah, yeah,
Telling you, Bruce Davis shows up every time someone dies. Yeah, Annie, you're not wrong. I mean, we're not
yeah,
saying
yeah,
you're wrong.
yeah,
Nobody's
yeah.
saying you're wrong at all.
Well, didn't the Zodiac murders carry on after they were imprisoned as well? Anyway.
But, at a
Yeah,
certain point, do you know which ones are Zodiac and which ones are Zodiac 2?
yeah,
They all
or
kind of start
yeah.
bleeding into each other after a
And
little
if you
bit.
look at all the newspaper articles about around the time of the murders, they report whenever police from out of state come to interview them. And there was loads and loads of murders they were suspected of, loads of other murders. And a lot of them sound like the Zodiac murders, but there was loads of murders where the police came and interviewed them. Tex as
Copycat
well.
murders.
I think Tex, more than Bruce, is known to be violent and was probably violent beforehand.
Says
Maybe Bruce did, but yeah, I don't think that he was, a thrill killer. Like
Linda Kasabian stabbed Stephen Parent before Tex shot him. Canalbert says, okay.
yeah, he was when he got kicked out of Scientology because they caught him smoking weed at the place that we went and visited. Me and Nicholas Schreck and a couple of journalists and some other people went and filmed the cottage that he stayed in, the Scientology cottage. They kicked him out because they caught him smoking weed, so he wasn't involved with Scientology for very long. And Scientology wasn't quite as heavy back then, was it? As well, it was slightly different. It was starting out, wasn't it?
It was a
more
bit
like
lighter. It was a
the
bit
Peace
lighter.
Corps or whatever, weren't it? Yeah, yeah. It got weirder. I think he was a pussy. Yeah, that's it. I can't
Linda,
believe
they
everyone
were all
believes all this about
pussies.
him. Yeah, they all were pussies. They've all been built up to be more monstrous than they really were.
It's like
None of them were fucking.
you killed a pregnant woman. Like, wow,
Yeah, that's
whoop-de-doo.
it. Yeah,
Like,
fucking hell.
you
Yeah.
killed an
Now the
old
next night
couple,
and killed an old couple. Yeah,
old
fucking
couple who
hell.
were fucking an old fat
Unarmed,
man and his
all
son.
unarmed people.
Yeah,
Yeah, fucking
like
hell. Aren't you
they're
fucking
all fucking
brave? Yeah,
pussies.
yeah. Fuck's sake. Not very efficiently as well. Bloody hell, they did it. They made a fucking mess of it, didn't they? My God. Like I say,
Well,
I
they were.
don't. I still believe that there was someone else involved with the Silo Drive crime as well. I don't think that Tex was the only man running around stabbing all those people too.
William Garrettson. I mean, he could have took a shower and shit.
That's it. He had time, didn't he?
He
That's
had
the
all the
thing.
time in the world to get cleaned
Yeah,
up and go to bed and fucking all that.
yeah. But that polygraph test he gave as well, he'd have to be a really stone cold criminal to fake it that well, though. Fucking, it's. Really don't know what to think having read his polygraph test.
But his polygraph
Like,
text
oh
was
yeah.
so wonky
Oh
and
yes,
off the
bloody
wall
hell!
too.
We
It was weird.
found the bloody clip of him in the documentary where he finally admits he went outside and he says more about what he heard as
Right.
well. We've got to talk about that. Yeah, I'll have to
And they
show
covered
that.
it
Yeah,
up. They were like, "Oh, well,
yeah.
we need to just not do that."
Well, now this was years later, weren't it? This was like fucking years after the trial and everything. But that's
And,
perjury, isn't it? Yeah,
and
yeah.
Annie, I believe Bruce killed Hughes. I personally
Mm.
believe that Bruce was in London when Joel Pugh died.
Yeah.
So Tex didn't do all that stabbing alone. No, he did. He and the girls helped.
Ronald Hughes wasn't stabbed though. He slashed his wrist. He died from slashing his wrist. It was a weird death, but
Really? I
fucking
thought he drowned. I thought he drowned.
no, he slashed his wrist. He slashed his wrist.
Oh
And
no, Joel Pugh. Joe Pugh sliced his
yeah.
wrists.
He
Yes.
slashed his wrist, yeah.
Right.
It wasn't like a Manson family murder where they stab you with a fucking bayonet knife or a
Right.
buck knife or whatever. Yeah, it was. He slowly bled to death from slashing his wrist. But you can't find any of the police documents about it. He had apparently written in blood on the mirror, but you can't find what he had written. They don't say what he had written. But all you know is that at the crime scene, he had been writing in his own blood on the mirror. And I'd like to know what he wrote. Because he was fucking married to Sandy, wasn't he? He was actually married to Sandy. Okay.
Sandy Pugh. Was that Sandy Good's
No,
name?
Sandra. Yeah, Sandy Good. He was married to
Oh,
Sandy. Yeah, yeah,
fucking Jesus,
yeah, yeah.
hell.
One of her kids is called Pew. She gave him the name Pew, didn't she? It's actually Bobby's kid, I think. Her son is called Ivan Pew, isn't he? Because she was married to Joel Pew. Yeah.
Jesus
I
Christ.
know, yeah, there's a photo of them together. There's a photo of her sitting on his lap. That's the only photo of Joel Pugh I've ever seen. Sandy sat on his lap. And that's
Acapella says,
creepy as well because he was way older than her, so it makes you think what the fuck was he doing?
Acapella says Linda may have become the state's witness because Susan Atkins was totally
No,
incompetent.
they were. They were,
Yeah.
Linda. They were legally married. That's the crazy thing. Yeah, they were
They were.
married.
They were
Yeah, and
married.
her son's surname is Pugh because she was married to him. That's how come she could give her son the name Pugh. Because you can if you're married to the bloke, even if he's not the biological father, innit?
And yeah, so Acapella, here's the thing about that. Susan Atkins, her testimony to the grand jury was horrific. I mean, that was a shit show and a half. That was like basically having a vampire be your state's witness. You know, she
Yeah,
was
they were. There's a photo of them together. I've got to find the photo again. It's in a Daily Mail article, but yeah, there's a photo of her sat on his lap. It's the only picture of Joel Pugh I've ever seen. Shows how old he was. But that's the weird connection, you know. So the Manson family, he must have known them quite well, obviously, clearly, you know.
Annie, can you get
Yeah.
where'd you find that Joel Pugh slashed his throat, not his wrist? Because I the way I heard it was
Yeah,
he had hung himself.
he'd slashed himself up. Yeah, and he'd been writing in blood. But they won't say what he wrote. You can't find the actual full police report. There's just like accounts of this. And the inquest, there's like a sort of articles about the inquest, and apparently his family accepted the results of the inquest, and they believed it. So yeah, and the investigation was closed.
Fellas says, yeah, like having a vampire working at a blood bank. Yeah, no, Linda
Yeah,
Kasabian was a more
mm,
sellable image.
yeah,
She looked more waif-like and more like your basic hippie chick, girl next door type person. So that's
yeah,
who they wanted to go with because of the image that they wanted to portray. It was a whole lot easier for them to be like, Linda never went inside. That's why we're giving her immunity as opposed to, well, she actually fucking killed Sharon Tate and we're giving her
yeah.
immunity because she's talking.
That's it. What
So
her lawyer's saying, I knew she was guilty of first-degree murder before and after the fact. So what did he know? What did she tell him? You know what I mean? It's crazy. And
well,
Susan said she came inside the house. She handed her another knife when she lost her knife, and she never
yeah,
says she saw her stab anyone, but she says she was in the house. She didn't stay
definitely.
outside the house the whole time.
Yeah, pigtails went way overboard. You're not wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Fucking hell.
Steven
Yeah,
comes through. Yes, Sandra Good had Bobby Bosley's baby named Ivan Pugh, and she was
yeah.
married to Joel Pugh. And
It
yes,
probably is. There's also a Daily Mail article with it in, I'm sure.
and
That
no,
is being shown.
yes, they were
And the dude
married
who wrote
when
that article is the dude in the Bruce Davis video with me. He came with me and Nicholas. Oh, Jerome, the Belgian dude. Watch the Bruce Davis Scientology cottage expedition thing I did.
but yes, James Watson, Sandra, and Joel Pugh were married at the time he died.
Mm.
It wasn't
Well, her
like
son's called Pew, isn't he?
yeah, Ivan Pugh. And
Yeah,
well, it wasn't like they got attorneys and divvied up their property. It wasn't like that back then for
no.
them. Ivan Pugh, why would you do that to a baby? Well, it's better than Zizo Zozi Zagfrag Glut.
Yeah. That's it.
So,
Yeah.
fucking jeez.
Yeah. Oh, we've been going for an hour, haven't we? Like I say, I don't feel too well, so I'll probably finish this pretty soon. But yeah, next week I'm going to talk about the what they call the lover boy method now of human trafficking and how it relates to the Manson case. To try and help people see how fucking this would be absolutely seen as human trafficking now and was, and by definition is nowadays, and the modern human trafficking laws would totally fucking
That's literally what Helter
change everything.
Skelter is
Yeah,
designed to cover up, is the
exactly.
fact
Yeah,
that
it's to
they
make
were
the women look like
fucking trafficking
yeah,
women, children, men, and dogs.
yeah. That's it. Anything that would yeah
Anything
anyone
that could
wanted
stick it
basically.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything. Yeah, and the golden penetrators were sticking it in anything they could. Jane Fonda was getting, oh my god, you know, it was just crazy. It gone
Here
absolutely
comes
crazy, hadn't
Rin
it? Yeah.
Tin Tin to the rescue.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, my god.
So yeah, that's what they were covering up, and that's what it's all about, is the fact that, yeah, this was human trafficking, and that Hollywood's been doing this for a long time. This whole Diddy thing with the freak offs and all that,
Yeah.
it's nothing new.
Yeah.
They were doing all that back then. Charles Manson was providing the people to do it with, and they
Oh
were
no,
filming it
wrong
all.
one.
Yeah,
Dogs, James. Dogs. I know. It's crazy.
fucking dogs,
Anything they could.
bro.
Oh my god, what was wrong with them? And then even drugging Canadians.
Ew,
Fucking
yes, they were
against
fucking
their will.
Canadians.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Ew,
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Oh god.
Who wouldn't
Poor
be
animal.
proud to be named Zizozozi
Yeah,
Zadrakula?
that's it, innit? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
My
I
god.
know he changed his name.
Yeah. I heard somewhere that he ended up being called Stephen by the people that adopted him. Fuck knows how people found that out. Yeah, she went and kidnapped him back as well, when he got taken into care before they arrested her again. She
Right.
actually found the foster home where it was. Look at my cat's feet. You'd see his feet sticking up there, can't you? It's his back legs. He's so comfortable lying in my lap. But yeah, she went to the foster home and stole him back, and they had him. I think she still had him when they busted at Barker Ranch, and they took him back then. Another mad detail about this case, fucking, the stuff the Manson family got away with. Charles Manson abducted Ruth Ann Morehouse when she was 14.
Oh yeah, no. Dean
Yeah,
Morehouse was going to
yeah,
kill him. Was going
yeah,
to
yeah,
kill him, and
yeah,
instead
yeah.
wound up taking some
Mm.
acid from him and kissing his feet.
Yeah, that's it. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, but the police just totally, and he was on probation as well. Just totally turned a blind eye.
How
Yeah,
do we know that Roger Smith and his wife didn't get Zizozozi Zadfrak
yeah.
into their care and just give him back to Susan?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they kept Pooh Bear, didn't they? Whilst Charlie and yeah, that's the other thing as well. Why was Charlie let out of jail again after the Mendocino thing, where he was
Mm-hmm.
on probation? Why didn't he get processed and put back into prison?
Mm.
Because he broke his. Oh, it's just
He
mental,
should
isn't
have
it?
been processed and put back to prison in '67. It should have never
Mm,
fucking got to that point.
exactly.
He
Yeah.
did so much shit. Like, I mean, he got
Yeah.
arrested for domestic assault. He got arrested for a statutory. He got arrested for
In the
possession of
Spahn Ranch
marijuana.
raid report, it says right the cops were coming up to Spahn Ranch and he was talking to them outside the ranch. And he was going, "Yeah, we've got guns trained on you now." To cops, he was telling
Sure.
the cops, "Yeah, we're pointing guns at you now." Right? It's like, what the fuck? Why did they not arrest him? And why did they let him go when they did bust him and arrest him? You know what I mean? He was threatening the cops with guns. They got helicopters in and fucking, all the
Yeah.
police in the county, didn't they, that they could gather to do that raid, and then they had to just fucking let them go again because they fucked up the date on the fucking warrant or something, didn't they? Something went wrong.
Okay, so that's another helter-skelterism. And that's another Vincent Bugliosi lie.
Mm,
From what Tom O'Neill was able to understand,
mm.
that's not even true. The
Yeah, it's
date
not true.
was
Yeah,
not
yeah,
fucked up at all.
yeah, yeah.
Like, they were simply let loose.
So yeah, what the fuck happened there? That's crazy, isn't it?
Right.
All those weapons, all the fucking weapons they had, the stolen cars and bits of stolen cars, and oh my god.
Stephen McIlwain says that that it was a government training film, that they were making a government training film there.
Yeah, I wouldn't
That,
be
that,
fucking surprised if it was just an exercise. Yeah, that's
that
it.
makes sense. Tactical
Yeah.
exercise, and they fucking making a movie. It's what it
Yeah.
all seems like, because it's all a bunch of Hollywood bullshit.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I don't think they thought they would ever go and do what they did. They never thought that they would go out and kill people. I think they were just fucking watching them and laughing at them until they went absolutely fucking nuts and ran into the Hollywood Hills and murdered Sharon Tate and her friends and then went out the next night. And how soon did the authorities really know who had done it? That's the worst thing as well.
They
And they would
knew.
just,
They knew. They
they
knew
would,
almost immediately. Charles Manson's
yeah,
fucking name was on the suspect list within 3
yeah.
days of
They didn't want
LaBiante.
it solved. They didn't want it
They didn't
solved, did
want it
they? It was
solved.
only because
Thank
Kitty
you.
Lutzinger and Stephanie Schramm started talking, and Susan Atkins couldn't keep her mouth shut that they had to fucking convict him. They
Well,
would.
no, it wasn't even until they fucking arrested them all in Barker Ranch and realized that they
Mm.
had him in custody that they even tried to
Yeah,
do anything about it.
yeah. Susan was already arrested for Hinman, wasn't she? I think
She was
they
arrested
had her
for
for
Hinman.
Hinman, didn't they? Yeah, yeah,
Yep. They had her in
yeah,
civil brand for Hinman, and she was
yeah,
awaiting trial.
yeah,
She hadn't even gone to trial, hadn't even been convicted yet.
yeah,
And she was running her mouth. And that's really
yeah,
what broke it open, because if it hadn't been for her, They
Yeah.
would have never fucking followed up on that. You think
Yeah.
Stephanie and Kitty talking to some Inyo County fucking
Mm.
deputies was going to get anything done after all the
Yeah.
shit that had happened? That didn't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
That just got
No,
Charlie
yeah.
and them arrested up at Barker and
No,
in
they said, "Oh, you
Independence.
just heard them talking when they were tripping. They didn't really do that, you crazy
Right,
girls." Yeah, that's what would
right,
really happen, wouldn't it? Yeah, yeah. That's it.
right.
It was Susan in the prison.
Yep. And so I mean it was just a convergence of things, but yeah, the way that they were
Mm.
going,
That's the other thing. Like, none of them was ever so remorseful. They handed themselves in as well. That's what you got to think when we're talking about whether we should release them. At the time, none of them ever felt bad enough they had handed themselves in, did they? They had to be
oh no,
fucking
they were
chased
going
down.
on
Yeah,
there.
that's it. Yeah,
They
they
had
would
all
have
went
if
to
they
the
could have got away with it. They fucking would have, wouldn't
they
they?
all
Yeah,
went
they
to the
nearly
four
did.
corners of the world.
Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, yeah. It's
Tex went
scary how
back to
close.
Texas. You
Yeah,
know, fucking Linda went back
Winkle
to
went
New
back to her.
Hampshire. Katie went back to Mobile,
Yeah,
Alabama. They
yeah,
were
yeah,
fucking gone, bro. They were never
yeah.
going to talk about that again.
Yeah, that's it. And they would have got away with it. It's amazing how close they got to getting away with it because they didn't want to solve the case. There was too much to uncover, wasn't there?
LAPD had a
Yeah,
vested interest in not solving that case. And
yeah,
then when
yeah,
they
yeah,
fucking were forced to make arrests and forced to prosecute people out of public outcry, they
yeah,
literally came up with a bullshit cockamamie
yeah,
story that covered up all the bad parts, nailed it down to where that they could arrest these people and put them in prison on these bullshit conspiracy charges. And that's why Katie and Tex are still in prison to this day, is
yeah,
because of the helter skelter shit that they can't you
yeah,
can't go in and demand that they tell the truth to
yeah.
knowing what the truth really is. So anything that they go in and tell the parole board is going to be based on this helter skelter bullshit,
Yeah, they have
which is
to
going to be lie. They
remember.
have to
Yeah,
lie.
you can see them in the hearings going, yeah, trying to
Well,
remember the bullshit
trying
as
to
they're
remember the
fucking asking them
bullshit and
questions
fucking
about it. Yeah, what did we agree to say all those years ago? Oh, yeah,
what really
yeah.
happened versus
Yeah,
what am I
what did
supposed to
while we were
say?
still fucking tripping on acid, what did Bugliosi tell us we had to say?
Yeah, Look
Yeah.
Mill says Death Valley law enforcement knew full well all about Manson after the October 3rd interview of Paul
Yeah,
Crockett. Yes.
that's the fucking most disturbing thing, isn't it?
Yep.
They didn't
And
want it. They didn't want to fucking solve it. They were forced to.
didn't want it.
In the end, it was too obvious. They made it too obvious, didn't they? Because they weren't professional fucking killers, you know.
Even said
Stupid kids who had no business drug dealing, and it went fucking ridiculously wrong.
you can't unlie a lie,
Mm.
especially once
Mm.
too many people believe it.
Yeah,
As long as that lie has been
yeah,
repeated often enough that so many people believe that it's the truth, and then it might as well be the
yeah.
fucking truth.
So it's got to the point as well where anyone who questions it, you must be trying to exonerate the murderers. You must be their fan or whatever. And it's like, no, it isn't
Oh
about that.
yeah,
It's about the truth. It's about the telling the
yeah.
truth.
What do you care about Charles Manson? He's a
Yeah,
hateful, racist, anti-Semite, woman beating, blah blah blah.
yeah,
Man, fuck Charles
yeah,
Manson.
yeah,
I don't give a flying fuck for
yeah,
real.
yeah.
But
Oh,
it's just
fuck,
like
fuck,
Nancy
fuck my
says, it's
computer.
about the truth, and
Yeah.
we'll get more and more into all this stuff, and we'll talk about Jimi Hendrix, and we'll talk about
Mm,
John Lennon. We might even get to the point where we start talking about me and my case and what happened to me right here in Boone County, where my rights got
mm,
violated. And the thing is that
yeah.
they always have an agenda. And as long
Mm,
as they have an agenda and they're not looking at actual evidence and looking at the actual truth, then that's what we're going to have this.
mm.
We're going to have this constant bullshittery where you can't trust the people who are elected and put into these positions to carry out justice.
No.
And that's what this is about. It's about finding the truth. It's not about being hateful. It's not
No.
about sticking up for Charles Manson or Patricia Krenwinkel or any of this other
Yeah.
shit.
What about the girls who never committed murder? What about poor little Ruth Ann Morehouse and Diane Lake, who were sold to Charles Manson by their dad, and they've never had
Exactly.
any sort of even acknowledgement publicly, really, that happened, except by
all
people like us trying to raise awareness of it. Do you know what I mean? It's
all
horrible.
the little kids that they were molesting out at Spawn
Yeah,
Ranch that you hear
that sort of
about.
thing,
So,
and
that's the one
people
thing
got away with that. That got
we
swept
didn't
under the carpet. It's
we
like,
didn't ask Steven about any of that, but we know that
mm,
Steven knows that, he was out
mm,
there with the little kids and stuff like
mm,
Tanya and Pooh Bear and
mm.
Zizo and all that. And I mean, I heard those girls were feeding them acid and sucking those little kids' dicks and stuff.
Yeah, but
I
that's
mean,
one
it
of
was
the
fucking
horrible
weird.
things about them. Yeah, it was
Yes.
strange. And there's in one of the police interviews, a guy says that the little children were left down by the creek, so people could go down and do what they wanted to. And basically, it's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
there was exploitation and weirdness going on, and not that got swept under the rug. And Terry Melcher shagging underage girls, and he just got away with it, And
Sure.
Dennis Wilson as well.
Well, when you're a beach boy
And
and
he
you're
didn't learn it. He didn't learn anything from it. Look who he married all those years later. You know what I mean? He didn't mend his ways and regret it. Obviously, did he? He carried on living that way. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, James. Yeah, that
Yeah.
there's a lot about that actually around if you dig.
Yeah.
Enough to believe that there's definitely
when I was
some fire
when I was
there.
playing the police interviews, I didn't get around to playing the one guy, but who was it? The one that was at Gola Walsh. Brooks Poston went and holed up with him after they'd all scattered. Forget the dude's name, but in his interview, he says that he heard about the children being put down by the lake, the creek. There's a creek somewhere, and they would leave the children down by the creek at certain times of day, so the men who were into the little children could go down. It's horrible. Yeah, well, there was this weird documentary, and it seemed sensationalist, but they were saying that babies had died, and they had just buried babies as they went, sort of thing, as they were travelling round. And these people took corpse sniffing dogs, but they never managed to prove it. And I've never heard anyone say in any police interview or any official interview that a baby died and they just buried it.
That
Stuff like
would
that,
check
yeah.
out though, because with all of the shagging that was going
Yeah.
on out there, you'd think that they would have been a
Yeah.
whole lot more babies that would have been out there.
Yeah. Well, there does appear to have been a lot of children, doesn't there? In the Hendrickson thing, even there was a lot of kids there, but the kids that were there when they got busted all got taken away, didn't they? Because most of them didn't get their kids back. Linda Kasabian was the only one who got their kids back. So all
Which
those
is
kids that
odd.
were there for the Hendrickson documentary, fuck knows who they were. Because the Manson family's kids all got taken, didn't they?
Well,
and Linda
here's the
Kasabian was
thing.
the only one who got them back. So who
Here's the
were all
thing.
those kids that were there for the Hendrickson thing? What was
You
going on
had a
there?
lot of people that flocked out there to Spawn
Yeah.
Ranch in the aftermath who were searching for the truth and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then, people had more kids in the aftermath of that. I want to say the Hendrickson documentary was shot in 71.
Yeah.
Right?
Later,
And
wasn't it?
then
Much later.
Spawn Ranch burned to the ground in 73,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And a lot of those kids looked to be 2 or 3 years old. So they would have just been being born in that time.
And there was kids who were older as well. There were kids who looked to
Sure.
be about 6 to 8 years old as well.
8
The
years
little
old, 10
blonde
years old.
kids, weren't they?
The one with Clem, that creepy
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Yeah. And he's the one they let out as well, yeah. Fuck's sake. It's disturbing.
Steven says Diane Lake was threatened with the gas chamber and that she would not have said anything. Who threatened her with the gas chamber?
Probably Bugliosi to get her to fucking speak, to get her to testify or whatever, wasn't it? Yeah.
She was like fucking 13, 14. She wouldn't have went to the gas chamber.
I don't know. I don't think Charlie would have approved of them getting abortions. I think Charlie was anti-abortion. I think he would have made them keep the babies, wouldn't he, if they could?
Correct.
Yeah. I don't think he would have let them get abortions. I don't know.
Gypsy had a boy with Clem, and he looked normal and reconnected Ted with his mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a few. Pooh Bear would have went to live with Mary Brenner's parents, didn't he? So he did sort of stay with the family of his blood family. He didn't get adopted out. I think he live with her parents. I can't remember.
Steven, like Linda was given immunity for lying, and they did give the same deal first to Susan, but Susan recanted her statement and her testimony, her grand jury
and she was
testimony.
just too loopy, wasn't she? And also,
she recanted. She said that what she said wasn't true, and they took the deal off the table.
Yeah,
and she blew her deal up.
They couldn't use her as well because she was too. The jury didn't like her. A woman had to walk out to throw up while she.
They
would have
went with her because they gave her the deal and she had the deal in hand. But whenever she decided when she decided she was going back to Charlie, they didn't even try and convince her not to. They were like, "Yep, all right, bye," whoop, and went and got Linda, and that was exactly how that went down. Yeah. No.
They couldn't control Susan. You couldn't control. No one could control Susan Atkins. That's the thing.
Fucking batshit crazy.
That's it. She was too insane. They should have all been given the same treatment Tex had, put in a mental hospital until they were better. But they didn't do that because they needed to fucking have a show trial and get it out of the way and make it look like they just did it because they were horrible, crazy psychos. Don't question whether they were sex trafficked to Terry Melcher. Please.
Yep. Harold True said Bug threatened to link him with the murders. Judy Hansen. What did you do, Harold True? I got a good fucking lawyer. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah, there's clips of him looking really nervous when he's asked about the Manson case as well. I've seen, yeah. I've showed it on, I think, in one of my Lobby Anchor streams, I showed those clips.
Stephen, they let Susan Atkins and Charles Manson meet.
Yeah, that's it, because Manson was representing himself at some points, wasn't he? So
Correct.
he was allowed to meet them with them, yeah, and
Yep.
talk to her. Yeah, they were meeting at first.
So
Absolutely
that's what
insane.
happened. Charlie
Yeah.
convinced Susan to switch up.
Mm.
And when
Yeah.
she switched up, that got her immunity taken
Yeah.
off the table.
Well, she stuck Caballero, didn't she? If she had stuck
Mhm.
with Caballero, she would probably have got out in her life. You know what I mean? Yeah, fucking, but she didn't. You know, I'm absolutely knackered. We have been going for more than an hour now.
All right,
so
y'all.
we'll have to end this, but yeah.
Next
And there
week.
will be a stream next week, yeah. And behind the scenes, Jeremy, we got to talk about. Let's do the Hendrix thing first, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah, but
Yeah, Annie wants us to wait
Yeah.
to do Lennon anyway, so we'll do Hendrix first.
good night, yeah. And by next week, I will have had the teeth out, so I'll be fine. Excellent. Good night, everyone. Yeah.
Later.
Thanks for coming. Bye bye.